what's up everyone? Welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to share a story time video because I'm absolutely obsessed with these. I think most of them are pretty funny. There's some that get a little crazy or a little too personal, but I prefer to share the funny ones, and I am like one of those people where I just see like the craziest stuff and like the weirdest shit always happens to me. So I figured I would share because, well, why not? So the one that I'm going to share today was something that happened about 5 years ago. It was me and my husband were driving home from the river, and the river that we used to go to was about like 3.5 to 4 hours from where we used to live. Well, so we were driving home, and it's like probably like an hour and a half. That's like a one lane, like each direction, like little, like it's called like a highway. But so that one like takes forever because you can't go that fast. Like there's a lot of CHP and stuff, so it's like takes forever. So by the time we actually made it back out to like the big freeway, it's like a main freeway through the area where we used to live. I was like bored. I'm like, it's been like 2 hours, like totally just like looking around, like paying attention to things around me because I'm just bored. Well, so I noticed the guy behind us is like waving his arm around. I'm like, what is this guy doing? He's just like behind us, and I'm like bored. So I turn around in my seat and I'm like looking back through the rear window, and I'm like, this guy is like going like this, and I'm just like, what is he doing? And I realized he has a gun in his hand, and I was like, oh my god, babe, that guy has a gun. He's like, no, like you're crazy, like he doesn't have a gun, he has a cell phone. I'm like, no, like I'm looking straight at him, babe, like he has a gun, like that guy is waving a gun. This guy is just full on like waving this gun around, like singing to it maybe, like I don't know if he was rapping into it. It was like the weirdest thing ever. But I'm like, oh my god, like no, like he has a gun, it's a gun. And my husband's like looking in the rearview mirror, and he's like, oh my god, you're right, like that guy has a gun. And I'm like, does he have like road rage? Like why is he like waving it around? Like is he gonna shoot us? Like what is going on? So my husband is just like, we'll call CHP, like let them know. So I'm like, call CHP, and I'm just like, hey, like we're on such and such freeway. We're like in this city. Like I can't remember exactly what city we were. We were out in the desert somewhere. But I was like, we're here. There's a guy waving a gun, like he's behind us and he's like waving a gun. And so they're like, well, like don't, like stay away from him, like da 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 da, like can you get a plate, blah blah blah, whatever. So my husband, like as I'm on the phone with dispatch, he like gets over into the next lane so like this guy can pass us. And so as he's passing us, like I give CHP like his plate number and everything, like the make and model of his car, like the color, all of that stuff. And so they're like, okay, like thanks, like we'll send somebody out. They probably thought it was crazy, and they're like, oh no, like there's no way, like there's a guy driving with a gun. Well, so not even like 2 minutes later, we're like coming up on the freeway because we're towing, so we could only go like 55 miles an hour, so it's like taking us a while to like get anywhere, which why I was so bored. But we see like all these CHP units like off to the side. They're like have that car like stopped, and they're all like got him at gunpoint, like getting him out of his car and everything. And I'm like, well, actually I don't think they like he was coming out of the car yet, but they like all had like guns drawn like on his car. There was like a ton of units, and they're like yelling at him to like get out of the car and like all of this stuff. Well, so I'm like, should I let them know like that is the car? So I called dispatch back, and I'm like, hey, like I just called in the guy with the gun, and like I just want you to know that that car that they have stopped right now, that's the car, like that is the car that we saw, that's the guy with the gun. So just so that they knew like that he for sure had a gun. Well, so I can hear dispatch talking to like the officers, like you have confirmation, like that is the suspect. Like oh my god, it gives me like goosebumps because they're like the weirdest thing ever. But so their CHP is talking to dispatch, and they're like, we need the reporting party to stop. And so my husband's like, no, like screw this, like we're getting home. It's like taking us forever because we were towing, like it'd been a long weekend on the river, like we're all like sun fried, like just ready to like relax, and like before we started our work week again. And so he passes like 3 exits, and they're like, you guys need to like pull over, like you need to get off the freeway, we need you guys to come back, like da 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 da, like all this stuff. So we finally like pull off, and they send a CHP guy to come pick us up and like take us back to the scene. And so as we're like, I'm literally right in the back of the cop car, and like this is my first time ever being in like the back seat of a police car, like it was like the weirdest thing ever. But so we're like sitting back there, and the guy's like talking about how we're gonna have to like ID the suspect or whatever. And so we get to the scene and everything, we pull up, and they're like, okay, like we're gonna have you guys like walk up, you're gonna look at him through, like he's in the back of the police car by then, and they're like, we're gonna have you you know, ID him. If it's him, like don't shake your head, like don't like make it very like obvious what you're saying, but just say yes or no. Like don't make any like head movements, anything like that. And I'm like, what the hell, like that is so weird, like is this guy like gonna like kill us or something? Like it was like totally weird. But so they have us go up like individually. So they take my husband up first, my husband's like, yeah, like that's the guy. And then so they have me go up next, and I'm like, yeah, that's the guy. And so they're like, oh, okay, like you guys positively ID'd him, like obviously you guys really saw it, like da 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 da. And they're like, this is a gun, like pull out the gun. It's like this big ass like revolver, like the old school like revolver type thing. I guess it's not really old school. Like I'm not like crazy into guns, so I don't know. It was a revolver, that's all I know. But they're like, yeah, like he's moving back from Arizona to California, so he had like his car packed full of crap. But he was like rapping to the gun, I guess. Like that's why he was like waving it around, like he was rapping to it. I don't know, it was like super weird. But it was like the craziest thing ever. And so like he ended up like going to jail or whatever. But I'm like, oh my god, like is this guy gonna come back and like want to kill us for like, you know, ratting him out or like getting him in trouble? Like I don't know, it was just like the craziest thing ever. And like who sees that driving down like a main highway like in your state, like a huge highway that's like so well known, and you're just like, oh, like let me like sing to this gun, like that's totally normal. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video.